Talk about these things with your children. Do you talk about it at all? That's what went through my mind when I picked up my little boy from preschool today. Continuing our team coverage, Not on Your Sides, Maggie Vespa spoke with a child psychologist for some advice. And Maggie's here now to continue our coverage.
That's right, Jennifer. Unfortunately, this tragedy is likely going to be a topic of conversation in the media, schools, and probably many households over the next several days, meaning the chances are good. Experts say your kids have already heard about this or will. And one local expert's advice is it's best to just be honest.
Unfortunately, Dr. Cynthia Dowdell has firsthand experience dealing with this sort of tragedy. Having spent 20+ years working in local schools, she spent nearly half of her career as a counselor at Desert View High School.
And my first week on the job was the first school shooting in the history of Arizona.
That was back in 1992. Since then, Dowdell has done extensive research on the prevention and effects of school shootings, even co-authoring a critical incident stress management plan. She now does similar work with the Northwest Fire Department, so she knows all too well the difficulty of explaining such a tragedy to kids.
Kids listen to these things. And so it's just really important to be honest with them.
She says often it's not what you say, but how you say it.
We need to be sensitive to each child because each child will handle different information and different language differently.
Dowdell advises using blunt language, the children were killed or even murdered, and avoiding metaphors like they are sleeping.
Kids will be frightened to go to sleep because they don't know if they're going to awaken or if their family is going to awaken.
And since many kids may have heard about the shooting already, she says be aware of the symptoms of stress.
Separation anxiety is a big one, and that's where it's really important with helping with what their thoughts are, good thoughts, bad thoughts.
Finally, she says be focused on the positive, what can and is being done to prevent history from repeating itself.
Civility, and about resiliency and about unity and getting along. Those are the things that to move forward.
And Jennifer Dowdell says it's important to also be on the same page with your child's teacher or school counselor so that they're not hearing two different versions and different language about what happened.
All these things affect kids in ways that we may not even ever, truly understand. Sure. I know my kids are little, they're 2.5 and 4. They have no idea what really happened. When it comes to maybe older kids who watch TV, maybe they're exposed to the news, right. What do they recommend the experts on exposure for these kids?
Sure. Well, they say once again, it always depends upon your child. Every child deals with this differently. If your child wants to know the information, Dr. Dowdell says maybe it's best to let them watch the basics, and then once they get that info, turn it off. But some kids, she says, if they're already bothered, just keep the TV off and focus on other things.
Parents control that flow of information.
Absolutely. Yeah.